Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 9 Frames podcast. This is episode 68, and it is Monday, January 8th, 2024. I'm Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there, subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the show.
Yeah, a bit more of a busy weekend with moves and rumors than we had the week previous.
Yeah, the holidays are firmly in the rear view, and teams are getting back in the office, and front offices are getting active.
Yeah, we'll get into that right now.
Getting into the story, and we will start by giving some well wishes to a newly retired player. Michael Brantley has announced his retirement from Major League Baseball. Great player, 15-year career split between Cleveland's franchise, mostly the Indians. I don't think he played for the Guardians, did he?
No, he didn't.
No, definitely not. And then the Houston Astros, where clearly he was a World Series champion.
Yeah, one of the better contact hitters we saw in the last decade, 2 decades of baseball, honestly. He's a career .298 hitter, .355 on base, .439 slugging with a nearly 800, 794 OPS, 129 homers, and 720 RBI in his career. It's a pretty solid career.
Yeah, simply put, this guy is a producer. That's what he did for those Astros teams. He's the type of guy you want on a World Series roster.
I remember back in the day when he was on the
menace.
Indians, dude. He when he would hit like 330, he was a beast.
A real killer, especially of lefties. I know that. He made a mess out of them.
He was also always notably like a great locker room guy. Like everybody loved being around him.
They called him Uncle Mike.
Yeah, his
right?
nickname was Uncle Mike. So like, good for him on the
Something
retirement.
I didn't really see coming, but cap off to him and absolutely deserved. Hope he enjoys it because really great career and he was a joy to watch.
Yeah, 15 years, man. You're a veteran. He gave his part to the game.
Yeah, they start calling people vets once they get through that
Like
5, 6.
yeah.
Usually around the service time where you're a free agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a really lengthy career and it was one that was fun to watch.
Yeah, congratulations to Michael Brantley.
5-time All-Star and a Silver Slugger to boot.
Awesome.
Moving it on over to the Dodgers. Who else? We cannot do an episode without talking about them spending some money. And Teoscar Hernandez, who I thought was going to firmly slot into a DH role, will be going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's not going to be doing that DH role because that's Shohei Ohtani's role sure.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have to play the outfield.
He is signing a 1-year, $23.5 million deal. It really isn't, though. He's getting $15 million of that salary this year, the Dodgers special, and the rest of that money is deferred to 2030 to 2039.
I don't
Insane.
get that. I don't understand how you can defer money on a 1-year contract. Even that shouldn't be allowed.
They're paying $8.5 million in the century in the decade of 2030.
Yeah, why
That's
though?
So crazy, and he's playing the 2024 season for them.
Bro, you don't even know if he's gonna be good this year.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't really matter. They'll be paying him in 2030.
Yeah, but I think that's stupid. I mean, both for the
insane.
Dodgers and just even that's a possibility to be able to defer over 9-10 years of a 1-year contract. I think that's absolutely.
I didn't even know you could defer a 1-year contract.
I didn't know you could either. I think that's really stupid that you can, and they should probably change that.
I'm wondering why the Dodgers this year specifically. I've never seen a team manipulate the deferral rule so much. Whose idea was this? Why they're like revolutionizing the game?
It's because they haven't won a real World Series since 1988, and they're sick of the jokes, and they want to win one.
Yeah, but how hasn't anyone else thought of this? Is what I'm saying.
Because 2020 absolutely does not count.
Nah, that one is janky. They didn't even play a home game in the
That was
playoffs.
a for fun World Series. I mean, congrats, you won a 60-game season where you didn't play any home games.
It was essentially like a weird tournament that they put on
Yeah.
in neutral ground because there was no real season.
Yeah, so they're probably sick of the jokes, and they hear them, obviously, so they're going out, and they're going to be the big spenders of this offseason. And we've seen in the past with teams like the Mets, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work.
No, definitely not. But, I mean, if you're looking at a roster right now and you want to pick a World Series champion, I think it's impossible not to pick them.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to be the favorites going into 2024.
Yeah, and this is he was a top option in what was a really talented DH market, and there he goes. He will be playing the outfield for him, so he's going to have to work on that aspect of his game a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I thought he would slot into somebody's designated hitter role. He's not particularly known for being good at defense, so they're taking the hit on defense to get the bat in the lineup, so we'll see if he can continue to produce as he has offensively for the Dodgers, who now are attached to this guy for the next 2030 to 2039.
It's a lot of money too.
Yeah,
$23.5 million deal for
It's
him.
crazy.
I mean, we will see because, man, I know I'm going to be watching a lot of Dodgers games late at night this season.
I mean, they just put them on because they're the West Coast. They're one of the West Coast teams, and now that the Angels don't really have much of a reason besides Trout, since Otani's gone,
They're going to dominate that market.
it's going to be like them and the Padres every night.
Mariners.
Yeah,
Some Mariners games. They should be fun to watch this year. But, yeah, the Dodgers are going to be on there, I bet, 3-4 times a week.
We'll have MLB TV, so we can watch anything anyway.
Definitely, very true. Moving it on over to a trade. This one is a funny one. The Rays and Cardinals get together, and they swap. Outfielder Richie Palacios goes to Tampa, and right-hander Andrew Kittredge go to St. Louis for the Cardinals. This makes Richie Palacios, he's going to play on his third team in 3 years.
I mean, this to me has Rays robbery written all over it. I mean, they did it with a Rosarena to the same Cardinals team, dude. I don't know why they fell into this trap again. I know Palacios hasn't done much in the big leagues, but when the Rays make trades like this, it feels like they know they've gotten all they can out of somebody like Andrew Kittredge, and they're just going to go get somebody that they think is going to explode.
Yeah, Kittredge coming off injury, too. You said Palacios didn't do much. He played his first season in Cleveland and his second season in St. Louis. Calling them even platoon seasons is generous, I think. They're not even full seasons to any extent. He has 6 career homers, had them all last year, 26 RBI. It's a career 244 hitter, so he's a guy that they must see, like, they can mold.
How old is he?
Oh, how old is he?
Yeah.
He is... Don't they usually say it? 26.
Oh, so he's still a relatively young guy. Kittredge is up in the, I think he's 35?
33. Not 33, about to turn 34 very soon within the next couple months.
So, I mean, it's not really a big deal. It's a reliever for a career platoon guy over his 2-year career. So, I mean, it just seems like the Rays know when they make trades like this, they know something that everybody else doesn't.
Yeah, specifically with the Cardinals, too, is funny to see again. Yeah. It's worth noting, though, Andrew Kittredge, when he fully got a role and he played 57 games.
He was an all-star.
He was an all-star, and he had a 1.88 ERA. He was third in the league, behind only DeGrom, and I'm not sure who else that season, but...
He was one of the guys that the Rays just made come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was absolutely dominant that season, so if they get anything like that guy, they're going to get something pretty good. He's been kind of hounded by injuries the last couple of years, but... He's still in the threes.
Yeah, I'm
both
sure.
Of those seasons.
I'm sure they'll take the guy in the threes for what it's worth. But if they get the guy that was the All-Star, they're going to be thrilled with this trade.
This is a deal I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we're sitting here in the middle of next season and saying they both won.
Yeah, I could see that. Or we could just honestly look back at it and be like, who cares that much? It could end up being a nothing trade.
Kittredge seems to be a guy who can hang around 3 or even be below it when he's healthy. And if Richie Palacios is a guy that Tampa could mold into anything like Randy Arozarena or like the guys that they've made into stars, then, I mean, that's going to work out for them as well.
Yep, the best way you could put it for a trade like this is we'll see how it works out.
Definitely. And talking about seeing how it works out, the Braves have added depth to their bench on Friday by signing former New York Mets utility infielder Luis Guillorme to a $1.1 million deal. That's a 1-year deal.
I find that funny.
Yeah, this is a guy, I mean, I know... What you expect from this guy is basically no pop.
I find it funny from Louis' perspective. Like, what are you doing?
I mean...
The Braves?
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know.
He's been with the Mets for like 7-8 years, man. And you're just going to go right to the... It's like Dom Smith. Like, why did he have to go to the Nationals?
Yeah, but do you think it was on purpose or do you think it was best offer? You know, that's the thing.
His best offer was
1.1 million.
Maybe because... I mean... Why wouldn't a guy like that want to go for Dom like he went to the Nationals because it was guaranteeing him playing time?
Right.
Louis ain't playing on that team.
Nah,
like
not much.
Yeah,
well, I think he would
injuries.
be probably injury option, yeah.
So
and
why wouldn't he go
late inning defensive sub? Maybe?
Why wouldn't he go somewhere where he can like actually be an everyday player and see if he can boost his value as a starter?
It could. I'm just putting myself in his shoes. It could be to go for the World Series.
Yeah, I was gonna say my boy ring chasing
because this team's a legitimate threat this year.
My boy is ring chasing, and he went to the dark side. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, Luis Guillorme is known for having a bit of a soft bat and a really beautiful glove at 3 out of 4 of the infield positions. So I mean, he's a guy. If it's the 7th inning, he probably is subbing in for Orlando Arcia.
Yeah, he probably should.
And then
Should probably play over.
That's going to be something. And, I mean, it could even be where he could step up. And
it could end up being
get
a platoon.
Yeah. There's no reason why not. Guillorme hits righties well from a contact perspective. Never really a guy who had pop.
I don't know.
So it'll be, it'll kind of be, he's a career 261 hitter.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's the Braves. I can't see them putting him in the lineup as a platoon option. I just can't.
Yeah, probably not. So they'll probably stick with Arcia, and I think, like I said, he'll be playing a lot of games from the 7th, 6th inning on.
Yeah, I could definitely see him being a bench bat for injury or a late inning defensive replacement for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a deal that I don't hate for either side, but we're gonna have to see how it works out. And if the Braves do end up winning, Luis Guillorme would get a ring with the Atlanta Braves. Would be insane to see after 6 years with the New York Mets.
It's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. Sticking with the New York Mets and the NL East, we will talk about the lefty Sean Manaea becoming the latest pitcher to join that revamped rotation of the New York Mets. He agrees to a 2-year, $28 million contract. He gets $14.5 million this year and $13.5 million in 2025, and he has the right to opt out of the deal after this year. But it's like he just opted out of the deal with the Giants.
I'm a fan of this move. I'm not gonna lie. I've always liked Sean Manaea, and if you look at last season, the beginning of last season, the first half pre-All-Star break, he added a sweeper in, I think it was around May, maybe like early June.
Mid-May when they moved him to the when they moved him out of the rotation into the pen.
And it completely changed the way he pitched. I mean, if you look at his numbers from the first half of the season, they were kind of bad, and they put him in the bullpen. He did that. You look at his numbers in August and September, it was a 3.15 in August, and then like a 2 something, high to mid 2s in September down the stretch. So he's betting on himself again.
He's a veteran of 8 major league seasons now. He was 7-6 with a 4.44 ERA last season. He made 10 starts and 27 relief pitchers appearances. He was 1-2 in mid-May, that point when he added that sweeper, with a 7.96 ERA, and they dropped him out into the bullpen. Since then, obviously, he got back down, and they added him back to the rotation in September, and he made 4 solid starts.
Yeah, so he was good enough to fight his way all the way back into the rotation to end the season, and that Giants team was fighting for a playoff spot, if you remember.
Yep.
Down the stretch.
Yeah, they definitely were. They were one of those teams that was within 5 games all the way down to the end.
He had to be helping them a decent amount for them to
I
throw him back into the rotation.
I remember in our older episodes when we were coming down the stretch, he was starting games for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, in big spots. That being said,
and he was good.
The Giants, they didn't really step up in those big spots this year, so, how much of that is on him?
If you look at the numbers for the last 2 months, he was good down the stretch, so you can't really put a lot of the blame on him.
Very true. He started throwing that sweeper 10% of the time at the end of the year. So.
That's like an Arsenal-changing pitch.
Very true. Very true. He is 65-56 with a 4.10 ERA with the A's, the Padres, and the Giants over those 8 years.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the move. Also, nice to see the Mets add another lefty to go along with Jose Quintana this year.
Yeah, it looks like that Mets rotation consists of Kodai Senga, Jose Quintana, Luis Severino. Now they have Sean Manaea and Adrian Hauser, who was obtained in a trade, and then, of course, Tyler McGill.
I do not hate it.
No, I don't hate it at all. It's
Joey
one of those
Lucchese's there.
And these are guys, I understand they're not world-beating names.
That's fine.
But I think they're guys who have a lot of potential, and if they play at their best, then that's a really good rotation.
And a lot of guys that are betting on themselves. So Severino is a 1-year deal. Manaea has potentially opt out after 1 year to bet on himself.
Yeah, they're not too long.
Hauser's got to be coming up on free agency.
Yeah, I think he's maybe he might be like a year or 2 of control.
And I'm pretty sure Quintana was a 2-year deal, and this is it. So.
Yeah, it's a deal that I like, and the Mets offseason is going to be one of those ones. Their whole offseason is full of deals where you're going to have to see how that one pans out.
Which is nice to see because those guys are going to, you'd assume, be playing hard.
And for me, it's a lot of entertainment value to see if those guys pan out or they don't. There's a lot on the line.
That includes guys like Harrison Bader, who signed a 1-year deal. We got Joey Wendell on a 1-year deal. The team's going to be different. It's going to be a fun team, I think.
Yeah, honestly. I think the NL East in general, I think, is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year between them, the young Marlins, the Phillies, the Braves. That's a fun one.
I think with the way that the Mets went about the last 2 off seasons, they spoiled fans where they grabbed every big-name free agent they could. and fans are getting super unrealistic and expect the ownership to spend hundreds of millions
And
every
they
offseason.
really still tried to.
Yeah,
They've
they
really said
did.
they have tried to, but they're just not pushing it too far. They don't
Because
want to push it too far.
They had a guy in mind in Yamamoto. They didn't get him. They're not going to reach out over what they already said they were going to do just because they didn't get their guy.
Because that's what they did in the last couple of years,
And it
paying
didn't work.
43-year-old guys $43 million.
Yep.
It's never going to work.
Nope, didn't
and we
work.
saw that it didn't. I mean, 101 wins, though. That is it working, but it didn't pan out. And part of it is because of the age of that arm. His arm kind of crapped out at the end of the year. Max Scherzer, I'm talking about, in 2022. So,
I mean,
or 2021, I'm saying.
21, yeah. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a fun year. No, you were right. 22.
No, 21 against the Padres, right?
Oh, you're talking about the Dodgers?
Yeah, no. Oh, no, I'm talking about it. I'm talking about
22 was
okay.
the Mets on the Padres.
Yeah, and then 23 he was traded. All right, yeah, fair enough. Our last story that we're going to talk about here is the Boston Red Sox. This is pretty jarring to hear. They're reportedly listening to trade offers for outfielder Masataka Yoshida and right-hand pitcher Kenley Jansen. This comes right after they signed Giolito.
Yeah, Kenley Jansen, I understand a little bit more.
I thought that would happen.
Because he has 1 year left on it's an expiring deal, and I think it's like $14 million or something like that. So if they could get out of that, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it. But Yoshida is kind of
Sounds like he just got here.
He did.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why they would do that. It doesn't really make much sense to me.
I don't get it at all. Had a solid campaign last season. I don't understand why you'd want to get rid of him at all, unless you think that you could get a real haul for him.
Every Red Sox fan I've seen online has questioned it as well. Like, why would they do this? I mean, the guy was one of the better options for them last year. I know it was a down year for them, and they finished in last place, but, like, why? It seems reactionary to me.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if I'm the Red Sox, he's staying in my threads next season.
Now, we don't know what a haul would be for him. Like, we don't know. Maybe they package them together and get a lot.
It could be.
Because you could package them together and get a decent haul back, but I don't know. I would hold on to
signing a
Yoshida.
pitcher like Giolito to a multi-year deal, and they traded for Von Grissom, who they're probably going to play as the everyday second baseman. I don't know. It feels like a team that was trying to kind of load up. So to unload Yoshida doesn't make sense to me.
Also, I mean, it says listening to trade offers. That does not
true.
mean that he's going to get traded.
That is very true. That's an outside
He most
chance.
likely is not going to get traded.
Yeah, don't be shocked if Kenley Jansen is on another team next year,
that-
because I've already heard his name with multiple teams.
The Mets were one of them. The Mets have talked to the Red Sox about Kenley Jansen.
I think the Dodgers talked about bringing him back, yeah.
God, are they ever going to stop?
They really aren't. And not for nothing, Kenley Jansen is a former Brave, a team that's often active on the market as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens with them. If you want my opinion, I'd say Jansen has a much more likely chance to get traded. I don't see why they would trade Yoshida, and I don't think they will.
Fully agree. Thank you to everybody for watching and listening wherever you do. That was episode 68 of the 9 Frames podcast. It is Monday, January 8th, 2024. I've been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
You can catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames, and our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there, subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the show.
Yeah, we appreciate it as always, like I say, and we're going to continue to roll on. I mean, we're getting closer. Pitchers and catchers are going to report soon before you know it.
Yeah, another fun little episode here. More of the Dodgers dominating the market, really. It is getting a bit demoralizing to see for 29 other fan bases.
Yeah, I mean, everybody else got to pick it up. There are still a lot of great players out there on the market.
Hey, but I also love a good story, and every good story needs a good villain. And if the Los Angeles Dodgers need to be that big bad villain for every other team to fight against, so be it.
I wonder if fans just boo them just because they don't like it.
They really might.
It'd be pretty funny.
I'm hoping to go to Citi Field this year and hear some "Duh Fur Rolls" chant or something like that.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Let's get it going. It should be a fun season this year. We hope you guys enjoy your week as well, and we hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, and we'll be back on Wednesday, news permitting. If not, we'll probably fire out a tweet or something letting everybody know that there won't be one. And if there's not, we'll be back on Friday. So hopefully we'll see you Wednesday. If not, we'll see you Friday.